KPM.
So beautiful. These flowers. I have so many flowers with me today. We have, red. These are yellow flowers and purple. So fresh and nice. Oh, I'm so happy.
Hi, Nisa.
Hi, teacher.
Hi, you look really happy.
Yes, I'm so excited and happy.
Because you get to see so many flowers of different colors.
Yes, of course. I'm a flower lover, teacher. So I am so excited, and it just made my day to see all these flowers on my table today.
All right, how wonderful. Right, imagine you are from the US.
Okay.
All right, you've been living here for many years. And at the same time, you're Malaysian by heart. And when you see all these flowers, and then you see this particular flower,
Okay.
what was the first word that came to you when you saw it? How was your excitement at that time when you saw it?
Oh, I will always call this flower Bunga Raya.
Yes, it will always be a Bunga Raya to
Yes.
us, no matter where we are, no matter what language we're speaking, because our original native language, we used to call it Bunga Raya. All right, that's the beauty of this flower.
But teacher, how can we relate Bunga Raya or hibiscus with what we're going to learn today?
Good question, Nisa. So what we're going to do today is we're going to relate to this hibiscus in this story called the winter hibiscus because it talks about a family who's migrated from Laos to the United States and the excitement, the emotions, the language that comes when the protagonist of the story sees this flower.
Okay, this is so exciting. I cannot wait to learn together. But before that, let's take a look at teacher's profile. Assalamualaikum and hi everybody. You guys are watching Sukses SPM 2021 with me, Nisa K. And for this 1 hour, we're going to learn English literature together. But before that, let's welcome teacher Surya Kumari from Penang Free School. Hi, teacher.
Hi. Hi,
How are
Nisa.
you doing?
I'm good. All right, I'm happy to see you
Yes,
and the flowers.
Yeah, of course. I am so happy because I am actually a flower lover. Of course, we have Bunga Raya, our national flower. And I am so excited for today's lesson because we are going to go through our short story called The Winter Hibiscus. But before that, teacher, I would like to remind our viewers at home to always remember these 3 things. Number 1, always keep your face mask on if you're outside. Maintain physical distance of at least 1 meter or more. And number 3, wash your hands regularly using water and soap or use hand sanitizer. And with that being said, I would like to invite teacher to sanitize your hand. And I have with me a pocket-sized hand sanitizer. Okay. Okay, I think we are now ready for our lesson today, but I will not be the only pupil today. So let's call our pupils from SMK Convent Ipoh. Hi, everybody. Hello. Wow. They are all smiling and I think they are excited for today's lesson. But before that, let's get to know each other a little bit better. We'll start with Iza. Iza, can you kindly introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Nuriza Amirah and I am from SMK Convent Ipoh.
Thank you, Iza. Next, we have Twinkle.
Hi everyone, I'm Kan Twinkle and I'm a student from SMK Convent Ipoh.
Okay, thank you, Twinkle. Next, we have Sophia. Hi, Sophia.
Hi, my name is Nur Sofiarina Hani Malaysia and I am currently studying in SMK Convent Ipoh.
Okay, thank you. Next, Anusha, kindly introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Janisha Nandakoma and from SMK Convent Ipoh.
Thank you. And we have Yarzi, silakan.
Hi, my name is Yashura. I'm from SMK Convent Ipoh and I'm 17 years old.
Thank you, Yazi. And last but not least, we have Sankirtana. Sankirtana, kindly introduce yourself.
Hello everybody, my name is Sangirtana Venumurali and I'm currently a student from SMK Convent Ipoh.
Thank you so much. So these people from SMK Convent Ipoh, they will be with us today. And I would like to ask our friends at home on Google Meet, what do you think about this subject? Any of you guys want to share your opinion? Yes? Okay, Sankirtana, what do you think about English literature?
English literature is a subject where anybody could learn.
Okay.
You don't have to be a genius to learn it. And my favorite form of thing in literature is poetry because you don't have to analyze it to enjoy it.
Ah, she loves poetry. Okay, stay with me. Is there anybody want to add more? What do you think about what we're going to learn today?
Yeah, I'd like to add as well.
Okay, Yazzie.
I love English literature because it's once you understand how to get into the details of the literature or like the poetry or the short story,
Okay.
it can be very interesting and fun to learn.
Ah, interesting and fun to learn. I agree with Yazzie and Sankirtana. Okay, teacher, what do you think about the topic that we're going to learn today?
All right, just before even the topic that we're going to learn, a little bit on what the students said about the subject.
Okay.
All right, so I like the words that they used, fun and interesting. Right, despite just looking at it as an exam subject, the literature gives more excitement. There is so much more. It makes you look at life from a different perspective, look at things from a different perspective, especially like today we tried looking at the hibiscus. After doing this story, you will never look at the hibiscus the same way again. Even 20 years time, in 20 years time, when you look at a hibiscus, you somehow remember what you learned when you were 17 about the winter hibiscus. So that's what literature is all about, that you learn and you enjoy it as well as you have it as a subject to study.
Oh, thank you so much, teacher. Well, I am so excited. I believe our students on Google Meet, they are all excited and cannot wait. Are you guys ready? If you guys are ready, can you please give me double thumbs up like this? Double thumbs up. Yeah, they are all ready, and I believe people at home, they are all ready as well. But before that, let's take a break. I'll see you guys after this on Sukses SPM 2021.
DidikTV KPM. DidikTV KPM.
Welcome back to Sukses SPM, DidikTV, KPM. My name is Nisa K. We have teacher Surya from Penang Preschool and pupils from SMK Convent Ipoh. I believe you guys all know already that we are going to learn English literature together. And our topic today is the water hibiscus. I don't think we want to waste any more time. Let's proceed with our lesson. Teacher Surya, over to you.
Thank you, Nisa. All right, the topic today is the winter hibiscus. And we begin with, all right, I'll be teaching you this, as we know. I would like to add on the fact that I come from Penang Preschool, the oldest school in the country, the oldest school in Southeast Asia. You would have studied about us in your history textbooks, all right? And I'll just begin with a short introduction with the prose section. So in the prose section of the SPM paper, you have short stories and novels. But you choose to do either the short stories or the novel. You do not have to do all of it. So in the anthology of short stories, you would be studying 6 short stories. And among the 6 short stories, 4 will come out for the exam. And from that 4, you choose to do 2. The section that you choose, the question that you choose, will have 2 short stories in it, and I will be going through that aspect of it in the assessment section.
Okay.
And for today, we will be doing The Winter Hibiscus by Min Fong Ho. what are we going to focus today? For today's lesson, we are going to look at the overview of the short story, where I run through a little bit on the synopsis and the summary of the short story. And then we'll go on to the elements of the short story. The elements of the short story, they are important for all aspects of literature. All right, you'll be studying these elements. And then the focus would be more on analyzing extract-based questions and analyzing open-ended questions, the general questions. Because we are going towards your trial exams, so you'll be sitting for your exams. So rather than by now, you should know your story really well. And we'll be looking more at the analysis and the evaluation aspect.
Okay.
So this is a short summary. I will not read the entire thing because you should know by now what the whole story is all about. So what does the story tell you? It tells you about this family who have moved from Laos to the United States and the kind of environment that they need to adapt to. All right, there's a lot of things that they need, the changes because of the climate. Being someone from Laos, it's a tropical climate. From that tropical climate, they're moving to US, and that part of US, they are experiencing all the 4 seasons. All right, they'll be looking at the summer, the winter, so different experiences which they did not experience in Laos. And the story goes on to talk about how the protagonist, the main character, Saing, the daughter of the Panuvongs, she goes through many different aspects, emotionally, socially, even the climate changes, and trying to adapt. Being a teenager, there are many things that she needs to try to fit in. The family on its own is trying to fit into this new environment, and Saing on her own is also trying to fit into all these different aspects in a new country.
Okay.
And what is important here, one aspect of it is when she's going to take a driving test. It's an important test for the entire family because by driving, by being able to drive, they save money on their expenses of bus fare. They also get to save time instead of waiting for public transport.
Definitely.
So, and there's a lot of anxieties. In the middle of this story, while all this is happening, we also have this boy, David, an American boy, who Saing has a crush on. And she is feeling, will he even look at her? You know, because everyone else looks like cheerleaders. They're all these American teenagers. And will he even bother looking at me?
She must be feeling very different from the others.
Yes, because looks-wise, physically, being Asian already makes her look different. But being different does not have to make us feel less than anything else. So that is another beauty that we learn in literature. Being different is fine. Individuality can be celebrated, and we can be happy with who we are. All right, and also it talks about the parents moving from their jobs. All right, in Laos they were teachers, but now here in America, to have a new beginning, they work as janitors and dishwasher. So, and they also need to adapt to the new language. So these are all the differences that they have to go through. Looking at the students, right? So any of you lovely ladies, are you able to tell me what was an important part in the story that you really remember or you enjoyed reading about?
Who wants to share your take on this short story? Or should we call someone? Twinkle, do you want to try?
Yeah, sure, teacher. The short story I love the most is when Saing failed her driving test and she brought home a winter hibiscus to her mom.
Yes, good one. All right, so when she failed the test, so many other things on her mind, but she buys a winter hibiscus and brings it back home. What are the reactions? So you look at that as the story unfolds. And I will move on. These are the aspects, the elements of the short story. And the setting. Setting is very important in short story. It is not just about setting of place. It's also about setting of time, seasons. So these seasons are also very important. Summer, winter, garden, florist, or the glass house. All right, maybe I'll ask the young ladies here. All right, anyone who can tell me, what is the significance of the garden setting?
Who wants to try?
Teacher, I can try.
Okay, Twinkle.
I think the garden is an important setting because it shows some important events that took place. Example, Mrs. Panawang spent most of her time there to take care of vegetables that fit the family. Also, it is the garden that the conversation between Saing and her mother take place, and this gives us an idea of their relationship.
All right, good one, Twinkle.
Wow.
So you see, this is how, it's just a garden, all right? But in literature, a garden is not just a garden.
Yes.
It has so much more, all right? The mother-daughter bond is established in the garden. The vegetables are planted in the garden. It tells about the hardship that the family has gone through to have those vegetables in the garden. So setting, therefore, you see, plays a very important role. Next, we'll move on to the plot. Okay. When we hear the word plot, sometimes we start getting worried. What is this? Plot sounds very scientific, sounds very technical. Structure. Are we studying structure of language? So there's fear sometimes in students. But basically, what plot and structure means is simply this. The way the author arranges the action towards a specific end. And in most works of literature, we get frightened by words like exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution. Basically, it just means beginning, then towards as the story moves. Then the climax is where there is a lot of suspense, emotions, the build-up of the story. And then as the story goes down, and finally you have, sometimes you have a resolution, sometimes there's suspense, sometimes there's a happy ending, sometimes it makes the reader wonder on their own what's going to happen next. So it's not frightening to see these words. It is basically about what's happening, what's going to happen next. Does the main character get what she wants? Or if she does get it, how does she get it? Or if she doesn't get it, why is it she's not getting it? So they're not scary words, all right? And you see the kinds of conflicts that happen here, all right? So maybe ladies, any questions from here? Are you all okay so far?
I have a question.
Okay.
Teacher, what do these type of conflicts mean?
What do these types of conflict mean? Yes, very good question here. So these types of conflicts means person versus person, person versus environment, person versus self. Person versus person, we can look at it perhaps in this story where Saing and the mother, all right, she's worried. You failed your driving test, but you buy home a winter hibiscus. The mother's careful with the money, but you spent your money buying this flower. How's the mother going to react? And having Asian values, we respect, we worry, and we wonder what's going to happen next. So we as readers feel that as well. What is going to happen next? Is the mother going to scold her? So that's the conflict, all right? And then person versus environment is basically the entire story. How are they adapting? Physically, socially, how are they adapting to this new environment, all right? And then you have person versus self. Saing herself, she fails the driving test. She's sad, she's broken. She thinks she does not want to do this anymore. But then she changes her mind towards the end. We go back to the theme, determination, perseverance. I end up believing that I can do it. So you see, in literature, through these characters, we also learn that, you know, all is not dark at the end of the tunnel. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Life will go on. These too shall pass. So that's the beauty of doing literature. Through the text, we learn about life as well. Right?
Teacher, I used to think that a plot is one of the most difficult part in literature. How do pupils tackle this part?
All right. Yes, it's because I think the word comes with plot and structure. You know, even when you Google up, you know, it comes with plot development and then all these scary words, exposition, rising action.
All the jargons.
Yes. So what we do is, you know, now with all this extra technology that we have, sometimes you can even plot a graph. And in that graph, you're able to see what happens first, what happens next. Basically, what happens next, why does it happen, and how is it ending? That's your answer to plot.
Okay. Thank you, teacher. Next, we are going to see...
we are going to the characters. All right. So here with characters, we have the Panuwong family. I've already explained about the Panuwong family. Then their daughter Saing, shuttling between two identities. What does it mean? Yes, two identities. We wonder how. All right. That's the beauty. When you talk about identities, each of us, we have so many identities, all right? As for myself, I am a teacher by profession. I'm a mother at home. I'm a daughter to my parents. So all these things, we have different identities. But in migrant literature, there are more identities because you are shuttling between the American identity that you are so trying to fit in and your Laotian identity where you come from. So then there's this interesting line which says, jolting her from one reality into another. Look at that word, jolting. That means you are not sure when you are here or when you are there. It's an emotional conflict.
She's confused.
Yes, she's confused sometimes, but that confusion actually makes her stronger. Like the song, what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Yes. So you see, these are lessons in life. So it's just like learning a song. It's like watching a movie. You read your text and you learn, if Saing could do it, so can I. All right. So we have
really
other
relate.
yes. So we have other characters as well. We have Mrs. Lambert. We have David, the boy who takes Saing for the driving test, and also the boy Saing has a crush on, and Mrs. Lambert who helps the Panuwongs to settle down in America. And we have characterization. All right. Who are the characters in the short story? And from the characters, we learn the narrator's point of view, the character's own dialogues, all right? What do we know, all right? What other characters say about the character? Through all these, we learn better about the character. And sometimes through characters, we also learn what's going to happen in the theme. For example, here we have how does Ming Fong Ho show the theme through characters. So next, we move on to the themes of the story.
Teacher Surya, before we go to the themes where so far we have learned about the characterization, the plot, and a little bit summary about this short story. I hope our students on Google Meet, they are all still okay. Double thumbs up if you guys are still follow. Okay, our people at home, we are going to take a break. I'll see you guys after this on Sukses SPM 2021 DidikTV KPM.
DidikTV KPM. DidikTV KPM.
Thank you so much for those who are still watching Sukses SPM 2021 on DidikTV KPM. So far, we have gone through the summary of the Winter Hibiscus, our short story for today's lesson, the setting, the plot, and characterization. Okay, next we are going to the theme of this short story. Let's proceed our lesson. Teacher Surya?
Yes, Nisa. So next, we come to themes. Why is migration to a new country a big challenge? So this will actually be able to help you look at the themes. Answering this question will help you look at the themes. So I can perhaps ask any of our young ladies here, what do you think? Why is migration to a new country a big challenge? Anyone
wants to answer this one? Raise your hand. Okay, I can see Sankirtana.
Migrating to a new country is a big challenge because it's very hard for us to adapt in the new neighborhood and the new community, especially for us to learn the new language and to fit in with the other Americans.
Yeah.
Right, good one, Sankirtana. All right, that's a marvelous answer. Maybe one more answer, someone else who can try as well.
Want to add more? Or maybe you have... Okay, Janisha?
From my opinion, migration to a new country will be challenging because we will miss Malaysian food such as nasi lemak, roti canai, because in America we could not get food such as spicy like in Malaysia.
Okay, number one is food. Okay.
You know, being Malaysians, being Asians, basically food is at the heart.
Yes.
All right. So yes, we also see food being talked about. McDonald's, you know, about Big Mac that the mother talks about. So I'm moving on to see what are some of the themes. And these are some aspects I've already talked about when I addressed the summary of the story and gave you the background of the story. And we go on to the symbols. All right. Symbols actually help us understand the story and look at what each things represent. All right. For example, here we have the flowers, we have exams, we have McDonald's, BMAC. All right. Why is it called BMAC here? It's supposed to be a Big Mac, right? But can any of you girls tell me why this is a BMAC?
Why BMAC?
Yazi, you want to try?
Yeah. Ming Fan Hong uses this pronunciation to show us that Mrs. Panawang still has difficulties pronouncing English words or like English terms.
Right, excellent.
Big Mac is symbolic because Mrs. Panawang thinks that they are epitome to everything American.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, good answer. Yes, excellent, Yazi. So what she thinks is BMAC, because the first time, you know, you see the big McDonald's archway there. So everything American, you know, it is McDonald's. So you see that. And then also you have lots of flowers here. As Nisa was excitedly watching over the flowers earlier. All right. And next, we move on to the assessment section, which will help you with your trials, which will help you with the examination.
Okay, let's proceed to the assessment part.
All right, before that, I just want to say that if you go on to the MOE website, you have the format pentaksiran there. The sample items are there, and what I have done is, I've taken some of these sample items and seen how you can map it to this short story. So on your own, what you can do is also look at those questions and try to use them for all your short stories and see if it helps you answer using this. So you already know your assessment objectives. You've been doing that for every text. So instead of scaring you with such big words here, I have actually done a simple breakdown of the AOs for you.
Okay.
So AO1, in-depth knowledge and textual evidence. That's easy. You're not writing a general essay outside the text. So basically, the events, the situations, the quotes, all that would be your textual evidence. AO2, deeper awareness of content. Because a hibiscus is a hibiscus in the dictionary. But in literature, this hibiscus means so much more. So that is what AO2 means. Inferencing, going beyond that word, interrogating that text. All right, then you have AO3, language and literary devices, even words. You know, usually students get scared when they see literary devices, technical devices. Basically, they're just words and phrases, all right, which the writer uses to convey meaning. And of course, not forgetting, why is literature beautiful? Because of your AO4, you get to give your opinion. Like what Nisa said just now, I'm a flower lover. And when I saw this flower, what did you...
always call this bunga raya instead of hibiscus.
Yes, so that is your personal opinion in there. You feel it, all right? So what you feel are your opinions and your thoughts. So next, these are the types of questions for each short story. For the short story section, you'll have to answer one question, which is on two different short stories. One on extract analysis, and the other one, the general essay, 20 marks. It's an open-ended essay.
That's a lot of marks.
That's a lot of marks. Yes. So how do we go about the analysis of extracts? All right. Your other DidikTV teachers have also told you to use the draw formula. Because with this formula, you cannot go wrong. All right? You deconstruct the question. Look at your question, highlight what is the question asking you. Then you read the extract. What is good to do is know your text really well. What is the magic formula of literature? Know your text. And when you know your text, it will not be like you're reading the extract the first time. You've already read this extract about 3 times or 4 times before for each exam that you've been preparing in Form 4 and Form 5. So read and highlight the words that you feel is going to help you in the words highlighted in your question. Then you analyze what, how, why. All right, and then you start writing your paragraphs.
Okay, I like the part where teachers say know your text very well, because if you know your text very, very well, the moment you open the examination paper, you actually know the whole story already, and it will definitely help you with the answering
the question. Yes, so here when you analyze, what are you looking at? The tone, all right, the mood, the words which have been used, the characters, what are the relationships between characters, the setting, the sentences, and the technical devices. All this will help you in your answer. All right, do you have any questions here, girls?
Who wants to ask? You can raise your hand. Okay, Janusha.
Yes.
Teacher, in poem there are many technical devices. However, in short story there are less technical devices. How do we address this problem, teacher?
Right, good question. All right, that worry, because when we study poems, we learn these literary devices. We know what they are. But when it comes to short stories, we are, looking, struggling to look at where they are. But what is technical devices? Even repetition, your flashback, your foreshadowing, like she thinks about what happened in Laos. She's thinking about, is she going to take her exam, her driving test? So the flashback, the foreshadowing, even words that you use, your adjectives, all those would be part of your technical devices, knowing your language, because that part in AO3 is about language and the literary devices. So there's no way you can go wrong because you are analyzing language.
Yes.
Then you use the Peel formula. These two you all have gone through this before. So you have your point, you have your example, you elaborate on that example. Evidence alone is not enough. And finally, you link, because you must link to the question. If you're not linking to the question, you know your text, but you're not having the link. You're not telling the examiner, I know what you're asking me, and I'm telling you exactly what you're asking me.
Okay.
All right, the types of extract-based questions. All right, I'm taking the one from pages 86 and 87, but my analysis, I've not got the entire text, I've just taken chunks of it.
Okay.
But what is wonderful is that from the same extract, you can answer both of these questions. Analyze the relationship between Saying and her mother, and also, how does the writer make this moment a very significant one? So sample 1, that would be on relationships. All right. So the relationships between the relationship between the mother and the daughter. Whereas here, how does the writer make this moment a very significant one? Is analyzing the use of language and how the writer is attempting to do this. All right. So in this extract, what do we ask? You see the shift in the tone. This is when Saying comes back with the winter hibiscus, with the flower, and she's frightened. How is her mother going to react? She's finished all her money, most of her money. So the mother comes back. What does she do? Utters a small cry of surprise and delight. But slowly, when she knows she spent so much money, look at how the mother feels. Appalled. She's upset. Then the mother stares at her. But when the mother realizes Saying has been crying, what does she do? She asks, what happened? She asks more gently. The mother instinct comes out.
The emotions changes.
Yes, the emotion changes. And all this down merely with the use of words. All right? So that shift in tone and mood shows about the relationship. At the same time, it also, how does the writer make this moment a very significant one? Through that change of shift and tone. You see? So words, phrases, actions, reactions, tone, comfort level, all these goes on. All right? And you can use this kind of words. All right? This suggests that Saying is feeling this, or the writer is trying to imply. So these are the type of sentence structures that you can use to answer such questions.
All right.
So this is also the further analysis of that extract.
Okay, teacher, I have a question. How will it affect the student if they fail to identify technical devices in short stories?
Right, because that's a good question actually. So they're not actually identifying, just looking out for the technical devices. That takes the fun out of studying literature. You already know the words. Words have an emotional impact. Even how these words are used to shift in tone. That itself is a part of a device used by the writer. So that also helps.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. And we move on to see the open-ended questions, the general essays, which is 20 marks. All right. But if you already know your text, this is where the magic formula has to be there. You have your entire text there.
Yeah.
You've studied. Remember the magical formula? You know your text.
Yes.
So you look at, you know your themes, you know your characters, you know your literary devices, you have your own thoughts and feelings about the story. Therefore, when a question like this comes up, the challenges that life inflicts upon us make us stronger. Discuss the challenges faced by the family in migrating to America. We've studied the themes. All right, and then we've studied the characters. What do each of these characters go through? All right, and then what are the words that you highlight here? Challenges. Then life inflicts upon us, becoming stronger. When she fails the test, she's so broken. She's frustrated.
Because she knows how important the test for her and her family.
Yes, not just for her, because it's also nice for her because she wants to be like every other American teenager. You know, to drive is like being this, having this extra superpowers.
Yes,
it's a dream, right? I think we all felt that.
Many things if you have the driving license.
Yes, and it's not just maybe an American thing. Even here, all right, I have students at 17. Everyone is excited to get that driver's license. But for Saing and for Saing's family, it is so much more. It is about having your identity as part of the Americans, and also saving the family that extra money that they're going to be spending on their fares and also time, and to give that family that pride. Right? So her failing, that was actually a struggle for her. So, and then how does this is another question, but I'm only looking at one sample today.
Okay.
So I'll move on to the answers. How do we go about it?
Okay.
So the introduction, of course, you bring back, all right, all the things in the question to say that, yes, the family did go through so many challenges. And how do we organize our points? So you have a heading. You have the physical aspects, you have the economic aspects, then you have the social aspects. So with all of this, you will be able to answer your question.
Okay, I hope our students are all okay. Are you guys okay? If you have any question, just raise your hand. Don't be shy. Okay, our pupils at home, I hope you guys are following as well. And we're going to take a break. I'll see you guys after this on Sukses SPM 2021 DidikTV KPM.
DidikTV KPM. DidikTV KPM.
Welcome back to Sukses SPM 2021 on DidikTV KPM. Me, Nisa K, and Teacher Surya, as well with our pupils from SMK Convent Ipoh, are discussing about the Winter Hibiscus, a short story for today's lesson, English Literature. So let's proceed with our lesson. Teacher?
Right, hi again. So now we are looking back at this question, all right? What I mentioned was I've given you the title, and from this question, there's just the content parts here, but let's look at how we are going to do the introduction, all right? So for the introduction, there are some keywords here that needs to be highlighted. Remember your strategy, what you do in the beginning, you deconstruct the question where you highlight the keywords. So let's try to do that together, girls.
Okay.
What do you think are some of the words here that need to be highlighted so that those aspects are answered in the question?
Can we ask Sankitana? Sankitana, do you know the answer?
Yes, teacher. I feel like one of the highlighted points should be the climate change. Because there won't be the same climate in Laos and in America, because Laos, they only have tropical season, which is sunny days and rainy days like that. And in America, they go through 4 seasons.
All right, good point, Sankirtana. So here, that would go under the physical aspects. All right, the tropical versus the 4 seasons. And when you look at it, the seasons played a very important role. While others were enjoying their summer, this family, the Panuwang family, were busy preparing for their winter. They went smelting at nights. They managed to get the right seeds, that you know, to have that feel of the Laotian meal. Because as some of you pointed out just now, food is an important aspect.
Number one. Number one. Being Malaysians, we would definitely vouch for that, And being a Penangite, I would vouch double for that, all right? So, when you look at that, see, the food becomes an important aspect of their life. And when they are looking at burgers, all right, you are actually looking at the American food. While we are here, we may want a burger, all right, but imagine eating burgers every day, Nisa. How would you like that? I must have nasi or rice. From my hometown, we have this gulai tempoyak ikan patin. I cannot have Western food every day, teacher.
Pahang,
yes,
right?
Pahangites.
That's for Pahangites, all right? So you see, wherever we are, whatever burgers we have, or we are into, you know, we are in Japan, even though we like sushi when we are here, but we are in Japan, as much as we have free access to sushi every day, we would still miss our roti canai, our nasi lemak, all those food that we are having back home. So similarly, you know, as some of my students in class, when they say, what? A burger versus bitter gourd omelette, and you like bitter gourd omelette? Because, you know, bitter gourd omelette is an acquired taste. Not many people like bitter gourd because it's bitter, just like its name. All right? But there's a part where the whole explanation, that whole imagery of the sound of the sizzling pan, the smell of the omelette.
I can imagine.
Yes, we're all getting hungry already, even imagining that. All right? So what she feels is sighing. It is any time better than a burger, all right, for her, because it somehow, after that experience, you know, having that flour, having failed the test, coming back broken, yet you are not going to let yourself break completely, and then food becomes that comforting agent. So that feeling there, you know, so the emotion aspects, and all this again done with words in literature. All right? So then you also have, you see, in Laos, just like here, all right, we wear the same kind of clothes. We do not have to change our wardrobe for winter, for summer. You know, it is always, you can wear it throughout the year. Whereas there, they had to prepare the kind of clothes that they need to change, you know, winter clothes. So all those aspects come in, all right?
And it can be very expensive, winter clothes. And I think that's part of the challenge for this family, because they're going through such hardship, adapting to the new life, and they kind of downgrade their jobs from teachers to becoming a janitor. And I mean, not really a downgrade, but I think they can make more, but they only able to be on certain jobs to just make a living.
Yes, good that you brought that point up, Anissa, because that was an important part. You see, the food and clothes change. They are coming as refugees. with minimum clothes. And Mrs. Lambert, whom I pointed out earlier in the story, she actually helps them from jumble sales. So, you know, for the first year or two, maybe you can't even afford those clothes on your own. So the economic factor is there as well. And that part, yes, you know, they were working as teachers. And come here, you are able to do whatever you can to make ends meet and to give your child or your children a new life, all right, in a new environment.
Okay.
So then you go on to see also that, you know, the clothes are from the jumble sale, all right, the grey wool skirt, the Fair Isle sweater, all right. So all those aspects are mentioned as well, all right. And the social aspects, all right, there are a lot of flowers that are used, and each time these flowers are mentioned, somehow the local language is used, all right. So why is it this local language is used, all right? So when you see words like saiba, you see words like dok malik for the jasmine flower, all right, because these flowers bring a certain kind of, not just the language, but also a certain kind of flashback to all the moments that she's spent in Laos. So that goes back again to that shuttling between two realities, all right? So maybe one of you can tell me on that flower aspect. You know, what do these flowers symbolize? You know, this bilingual dialogue that she uses these two types of language, all right?
So
but flowers, anyone?
Teacher, I can try.
All right,
Okay, Twinkle.
Twinkle, yes.
Teacher, I think the flower are seen as an important symbol because they represent a form of nostalgia. Some of the flowers are seen and used during Sang childhood days in Laos. And she mentioned that a familiar fragrance filled her lungs. Like this can be reminded of her moments with her grandmother. Besides that, the writer uses local Laotian names for the flowers to give a vivid impression of the two language. For example, Dal Malik is the jasmine.
Great answer. Thank you so much, Twinkle. But I would like to ask Sophia. Sophia, if you are given a chance to migrate to, let's say, America, will you go? Will you be excited?
I mean, I would be excited, but then I would be feeling nostalgic for a long time.
I understand that feeling.
Yes.
I mean, if I'm traveling like for more than a week, I always like get homesick. I can imagine if I actually move to another country. Okay, teachers, we are actually at the end of our lesson already, so I would like to ask you a little bit conclusion to what we have learned so far today.
All right, so to recap, all right, on what we have done today for today's lesson, we have done the overview of the short story, the important elements of the short story. We have looked at the assessment aspects of the short story, as in how these extract-based questions and the open-ended essay questions are answered.
Okay, thank you so much, teacher Surya from Penang Free School. Thank you so much, pupils from SMK Common Ipoh. Do any of you guys have any question before we end our session for today? No? Okay, I would like to ask Janusha, can you give a very short last word for today's lesson? How do you feel so far?
I feel I understand more about the winter hibiscus. I get more knowledge by this section.
Okay, thank you so much, Janusha. And I would like to thank pupils at home who are watching us. I think I learned a lot as well. And don't forget the draw and fill formula and know your text very, very well. That was some of the tips that were shared by teacher Surya just now. I'll see you guys in the next episode in DidikTV KPM. Bye.
DidikTV KPM